Welcome to the Motherhood Alliance podcast, the podcast dedicated to empowering moms and families on their health and wellness journey. I'm Brittany Suttner.
And I'm Andrea Rinkus. Together, we're here to explore holistic approaches that go beyond conventional medicine.
Each week, we dive into topics that matter most to you. Everything from nutrition and mental health to alternative therapies and natural living.
And whether you're a new mom navigating the early stages of parenthood or a seasoned pro looking for new ways to support your family's well-being, you're in the right place.
Even better, all of our guests are local small business owners who you can actually talk to and work with. You can learn more about today's guest and connect with hundreds of other health and wellness professionals through our informative and easy-to-use directory at motherhoodalliance.com.
Before we get started, keep in mind that this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for personal healthcare advice. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any changes based on the podcast content.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Are you ready to help your family thrive? Let's get started. Hi, we are Britt and Drea from motherhoodalliance.com, and we are excited to welcome you to a 4-episode series with Marie Hammen, who is a registered nurse, infusion nurse specialist, nutritional therapy practitioner, and the owner of Live Wellness IV. Marie started her career as an ER nurse, but she eventually started looking for something different and discovered a casual IV infusion job. She quickly saw the benefits of IV infusion therapy, which sparked an excitement to learn more about functional and preventative medicine, especially because at the time she was going through her own medical hurdles and was left with only answers of surgery and medications. At the time, she was also in her master's program, so she decided to pivot and pursue a nutritional therapy program instead. The more she learned, the more she fell in love with preventative medicine, and she knew that she couldn't carry out her passion and mission in the ER anymore. And with that, her business, Live Wellness IV, was born. Outside of work, Marie is an avid creator and loves to make everything from scratch, whether it's food, home products, or diving into homesteading techniques. She's been happily married to her husband Neil for almost 11 years and is the proud mother of 4 kiddos and their dog, who is awesomely named Gramps. The IV infusion world is gaining popularity, but not many people know about it, which is why we were beyond excited to sit down with Marie to ask all of the questions. And in addition to that, Marie makes her own tallow-based skincare products, and she just recently started a business around that, and we just had to dedicate an entire episode to learning about that with her as well. We learned a ton in our 4 episodes together, and we know you will too. So without further ado, let's jump into today's conversation. Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of All Things Infusions. Welcome back, Marie. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
We have a plethora more questions. So if you did not listen to episode 1 yet, I would almost encourage you to hit pause and just go back and listen to episode 1, because we really kind of started at the top of what are IV infusions, how do they work, infusions versus injectables, what is kind of actually in the infusion, who is it for, what symptoms does it help with. And in this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit more about maybe the details behind it and what does the process actually look like. But before we jump into that, when we're talking about vitamin IV infusions, and so many people are taking oral supplements for vitamins, why should they do an infusion versus an oral supplement? Or are there different kind of seasons of life or time frames when one is better than the other?
Or combinations too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a combination. So it's looking at, I always say supplement. You're supposed to take your vitamins as a supplement. You should supplement with them. So looking really at your food, trying to get your nutrients from the food. But we know now more than ever that we're looking at our soil, what's in our soil. So it really comes from our nutrients starting off right in the soil, and then all the processes that they undergo before they get to our tables. So vitamins can be great for individuals, especially who have chronic illnesses, who are having issues with absorption, those GI issues, who have leaky gut. So those individuals are already not being able to absorb their nutrients from their food, but then when they supplement too. Supplementation for anybody with vitamins, by the time it goes through your whole digestion process, what you're actually getting from the supplement is a very low percent. And each supplement is different, so I can't say specifically how much of one that you're getting, but the broad average is between anywhere from like 10% of the supplement dose that you're getting to 40.
So you're talking like if somebody takes it orally, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I looked at the back of a vitamin bottle and it says this is 80% of what I should be getting in one capsule, you're saying this bottle is telling me that 80% of my daily value is in that capsule, but what I'm actually absorbing is way, way less.
Yes, it's less. And that can be less for everybody because we don't know. Nobody really knows, their constant GI health. So how much of what one person absorbing could be different from somebody else. So that's where IV infusions are such a great benefit, especially for those individuals with chronic health conditions, because you're getting that almost 100% right into the bloodstream. It's ready for your body to use for absorption.
So regardless of your gut health, it's going straight into your body, and there's no bypass. Yeah.
Yes. And then there's all these outside forces that are causing absorption issues, anywhere from pollution. I mean, if you smoke cigarettes, your medications, there's certain medications that are depleting you from vitamins. Stress is huge. It's taking away a lot of your magnesium. Alcohol depletes you of these vitamins and these nutrients. So people can say, yeah, unless you're really looking at your food and really using your food as your food is medicine, or food is essentially what you eat. I mean, you have to be really on point with your food to get in your vital nutrients.
Yeah, and
you need.
I feel like that's definitely not something that's easy for anybody these days either.
It's not, and it's costly.
Yeah,
because then you're looking at organic, and it's expensive. And the pesticides that you spray. So everything is really taking away our nutrients.
Well, and even when we're talking about cost here, you're talking about how little we're absorbing from the capsules, especially when they have to go through our GI tract, and there's all the outside influences helping to determine how much we actually absorb. Supplements are not cheap.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at an IV infusion and how that's delivering something straight to your bloodstream, I would almost wonder if it's cheaper to do that than be taking these very expensive supplements when you're not actually absorbing it.
Yes. And I will still recommend, I still take supplements too. And I also have gotten more in tune with my body to know when I'm ready for an infusion. Like I said, everybody's kind of different, but then it's also looking at your vitamin source. Where are you getting your vitamins? Are you just going to the local drugstore and buying them off the shelf? Mm-hmm. Because there's definitely good vitamins out there and not so great ones. They're not as heavily regulated as medications.
Okay, but you just said something really, really critical. You said you do take supplements, but you also kind of are in tune with your body to know when an infusion is appropriate. So what do you mean by that? How do you know when an infusion is an appropriate, like when you need one, when your body is calling for one?
Yeah, so this is a very popular question, especially people that are new to the IV world. When I got my first couple of IVs, I was well and I was healthy. So it's a little bit more looking at those subtle changes. How are you sleeping? How is your mood? I was feeling just a little bit less inflamed, clearer mindset, as opposed to those times when I had a migraine. The more drastic your symptoms are, the more unwell that you're feeling, the more intense of the improvement that you're going to feel. So with the wellness, I can kind of tell when I just did an IV the other day. I was just feeling really drained, stressed, inflamed, a little foggy. So I felt like I needed just a bigger boost.
And what kind of, you have a whole bunch of recipes on your website too. So obviously people would come to you and ask, what, these are my symptoms. What do you recommend? Do you have like more of a general, like what is your menu? What are the top ones that you usually have?
So the menu is great, especially for people that are new to the IV world, because it gives you, a couple of them are quench. So quench, you think, really looking for hydration. So there's certain ones in there that'll help for that. Migraine relief, obviously for migraines. We have the hangover cure, a Myers cocktail. That's one of our really great ones. It kind of covers everything.
Okay.
It's a blend that has just about every vitamin in there that's going to help with immunity, inflammation. Then we have other ones like recovery and performance that's looking more for the athlete. That's going to give you more of the energy vitamins. But I do also have people that come in and like, this is what's going on. I'm not really sure. So sometimes the website can be a little intimidating for new people. So we try to categorize it on, I'm looking for immunity. I'm looking for recovery and performance. But then when they come in and they tell me kind of what's going on, we can kind of steer them in a different direction.
Okay.
Well, I think that this one might be beneficial for you, or let's do this one, and then we can add on XYZ.
Sure. Yeah.
For someone who's looking for just general wellness, and like this time of year, it's the winter right now in Wisconsin, so a lot of people are sick. General wellness, keeping their immune system healthy. How often should they be coming in to get an infusion?
I would say about every 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. And it's funny because in the back of my mind, I'm also, as you were describing kind of your symptoms when you know you're ready for one, and you're like, oh, I'm just a little more tired and a little more irritable. I'm like, well, that happens to me once a month. Yes. I'm like, I wonder if you could almost like line it up with your cycle and just be like, okay, this is going to be my booster.
A lot of my clients are women. They're women after childbearing years, up to their 60s. And unfortunately, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but our healthcare system, women's healthcare. I mean,
you can dive into it if you want to. It's fine.
Yeah, it definitely needs a lot. We need a lot more support than what we have. And I actually do have a blend. It's called Alleviate, and it's for her. So it's really looking at those vitamins like magnesium, taurine, those other vitamins that are going to help with smooth muscle relaxation, that are going to help with stress. So I B12. B12 is huge. For the brain, for mood, for energy. So I do have women that will come in and get these infusions around that time of the month, or they even come in for B12 injections alone. I mean, B12 is such a great vitamin, and when given as an injection, you can do it just to boost your levels. Then you're looking at more of that 4 to 6 week. Oh. So again, it's very individualized. You just want to boost your levels, or do you want to feel more of the side effects? Then you would come in about once a week or around your cycle. So my business, I focus on one individual at a time. So you come in, you're not lined up. When you're in the office, it is just you. Or if you have a friend or family, but it's your group or just you. So you aren't only getting the education on the vitamins, but we can also talk about what's going on with your life. What stressors do you have? Let's talk about your food. Let's talk about sleep. Everything is correlated with your lifestyle. It's not just one thing.
That was a question that we had too. Like, what does the process look like? So when somebody comes in, how long do they have with you? And obviously you just talked about like what you talk about, because there's a lot of detail about each individual, and you need to know really what's going on with them to kind of brainstorm and figure out what they need, right? So how long do they have with you?
What does it feel like?
What does it feel like?
Yeah, so when I was looking at my business, I really had to look at what is my goal? What is my mission? What do I want the future of Live Wellness IV to look like? And that really determined the space that I was in. Am I going to line up chairs? Is this going to be, multiple people at once? But I really enjoy that one-on-one connection, so that someone can come in, they can feel comfortable. And this also determined, do I bring on more staff? Do I bring on more nurses? I would love to. But I'm also particular because I want to be the one talking with each individual. So again, everything is documented and charted so our provider can oversee everything. But then you get you come in, our IVs your session is 1 hour. For vitamin injections, it's 15 minutes. An injection itself takes all of 20 seconds to do. So you have that time where they just take a few minutes, we chit-chat a little bit, and then they leave. Some like that full 15 minutes to really talk. Same with our vitamin infusions. The average will take around 45 minutes. Some are a little quicker. It all is determined kind of by your vein, your position, the IV size itself. But you get 1 hour. So you can take that full hour. We can talk. Some people like to come in and talk during their infusions, while some just like to kick back. I made a very cozy space so that people are comfortable. And some people like to kick back. I dim the lights. I play nice music, and they just relax.
Nice. That sounds nice. And then what do you feel? Like, can you feel like any sort of tingliness or anything else? Or is it just, you don't really feel anything?
Yeah. So you come in, we'll start an IV. Many people have had IVs in the hospital, but if you didn't, we'll put the tourniquet on your arm. I select the best IV, your vein, the IV site. But it's just a small prick, I would say. It's tolerable. And then we get the fluids going right away. The fluids are room temperature. I do have a fluid warmer as well. So these cold months, it's really helped. So that's regulated as far as the temperature that it can go up to, but it's still cooler than your body temperature, which can help. That can help with the inflammation. If you have a fever, that can help bring down your fever as well with just the fluids. And then we slowly start adding in those IV vitamins. So there's different orders that we have to use, like glutathione, that has to be an IV push because it's light sensitive. The half-life is very short compared to other vitamins. So there are certain ways that we administer vitamins. It's not just, oh, you come in, you pick this, and we're just going to cram it all in one bag, and you just sit there.
Right.
Although it might feel like that for some people, but they don't know. Well, some have to be pushed in and mixed a certain way. You can feel like a little like rush or like a little dizzy sensation. It depends on how dehydrated you are. If your body really needs that hydration, it might be kind of a shock to your system. So we'll monitor your vitals. We can turn down the rate that your infusion is going to make you more comfortable. So if you do get those sensations, we'll just turn it down so you're not getting any off-putting side effects.
Are there any side effects other than, you're talking about right now during the infusion, but like how long do results last? Like how long does it take for your body to absorb these vitamins before you kind of go back to the state perhaps you were in when you came in? But then also, are there any side effects and how long should you be watching for those?
So with the vitamin infusions, you're going to start that absorption process right away. People, even once we start adding in the B12, the B complex, people can almost taste those vitamins. I mean, it's hitting your system right away. So you're going to take everything that your body needs, absorbs over the next few hours. And depending on what you need, if you really need that detoxification, are you chronically ill, your body might actually start feeling fatigued at first, especially when we're using our vitamins like glutathione. Glutathione is such a great vitamin. It's a big detoxifier, antioxidant. It's going to get in your cells, the mitochondria of your cells, to really help with energy, to release those toxins. And those other vitamins are going to kind of come in, repair, kind of clean up, help with oxidative stress. So as we're cleaning up all these toxins, it releases free radicals. And so the free radicals you can kind of look at as just kind of like the garbage that are the excess that we have from damaged cells. And so that produces oxidative stress, which causes inflammation. So these vitamins and the fluids will come in, help repair, kind of clean that out. So then after your infusion, I always recommend to keep drinking fluids, even though that you have that infusion bag. That's just going to help with eliminating those toxins. So some people will see side effects or feel the benefits halfway through their infusion, again, depending on what your body needs, and even if just with the dehydration alone that it's helping with. And then the next day, you might feel it, or it might be 2 days to where your body is really eliminating those toxins and you feel like, wow, I feel better. I feel clear all around.
Okay. And what is the average cost of these? And they might differ depending on the type of drip that you're choosing, but what are kind of the costs, and does insurance typically help with this?
So the cost I offer, it's pure hydration. That's just the saline fluids alone. This is great for so many medical conditions, even POTS. So when you're dealing with that hypotension, again, our business, we don't say that we diagnose, we don't treat. So I always want to make sure that people are aware of that. But our pure hydration is just fluids. And then it can go up all the way up to our NAD, which is $1 a milligram. So some people are getting a 500 milligram, so it can go up to $500. I would say the majority, the average is between $135 to $150.
Okay.
Insurance, I do not accept insurance. Everything is out of pocket, but I do accept HSA, FSA.
Okay. And then I know we're kind of getting into the details here, but these are always questions that people are just like, well, what about this? What about this?
Mm-hmm.
How about kids, especially, maybe teenage athletes? What's the minimum age that you will support?
So with our doctor, it's 16 and older.
Okay.
I haven't had a request for anyone younger than that. If somebody does come along and they're needing hydration for any reason, I would definitely put it through to my doctor, have them screened to see if they would qualify. Because again, it's their safety is what comes first, especially when we're looking at our our younger population.
Okay. So even if, a kiddo had some sort of virus and had a stomach bug and they're really dehydrated, that doesn't mean that they can't contact you and at least ask.
Absolutely. And again, like I said, we'll always recommend you can come in, you can get the hydration, you can get the vitamins, but we do not diagnose, we do not cure, we do not treat. We can help support the body in what it needs. So even when people coming in and they're feeling ill, I'll always tell them, I will follow up with you. Let me know if you need anything, but if you continue that you really do need to be seen by your healthcare professional.
So you are a business where if somebody is feeling sick, you are like, come in, right? Because there's some businesses where it's like, if you're feeling sick, stay home today.
Oh, yes.
You are one that's like, oh, you're feeling ill, get in here because you really need this. Is that correct?
So people are like, oh, I'll wear a mask. Are you sure you can see me? From years of being in the ER, I have been exposed to a lot and I've brought in a lot home. I feel like my kids' immune systems are top notch. We don't get sick a ton.
Yeah.
But yes, come in. I'd rather see you than not. That doesn't scare me. And then I do also offer mobile infusions. Those are getting just a little bit trickier with scheduling, but they are still there. This has been a service that I've not wanted to get rid of because it can be very beneficial for those who are just so ill that just don't, or dehydrate or have migraines, or the elderly that are having difficulty coming into me.
Okay. And I love how you said that you value so much the like one-on-one care. But if somebody wanted to I've heard of using these for like bachelor parties or, some sort of more of a group setting. Is that something that you do support? How many people can you support? And then maybe give us a couple of examples of groups that you've helped in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's always the fun side of this business too. I have gone to hotels, to Airbnbs. In my office, I could probably support around 8 people, maybe a little bit more. We could bring in some extra seating. Myself, I can handle about 8 to 10 people with IVs and infusions. That doesn't exclude if you have larger groups. I have partnered with other nurses, IV infusion nurses. So it's definitely a community that's growing and that we can work together.
Okay. And before we end this episode, I just want to reiterate that Marie is offering 10% off any IV infusion service when you mention that you learned about her through the podcast. So that's amazing. Thank you for offering that to our listeners. If people have more questions, I think we asked a lot of great questions between part 1 and part 2, but I'm sure there's more out there. So if someone wants to ask you some additional questions, how do they contact you?
If they go to my website at www.livewellnessiv.com, my phone number is on there. My email address is also on there at livewellnessiv@gmail.com. You can also get a hold of me on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook Messenger. You can call me directly from that phone number listed or even send me a text message.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. We're just really excited to have you in our area and offering these solutions to so many people's different problems. So we are going to be coming back with our 3rd episode with Marie. We're going to be talking about NAD, which has kind of been claimed as the fountain of youth lately. So this is going to be one you're definitely going to want to tune into, especially if you've not heard of it yet. So we're going to be asking questions specifically on this infusion option. And so, it's one that needs its own episode. So we'll be coming back with that next. And then finally in our 4th episode, make sure you are waiting around for that one too, because tallow has been all the rage lately. And we're going to be talking about making products with tallow in our 4th episode. So we can't wait to have you back, Marie.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider leaving a rating or review or sharing it directly with a friend who could benefit from the information? We know that you're a busy mom or caregiver, and our goal is to make your life easier by bringing tips and tricks directly from experts into your earbuds. By sharing this episode with someone you love, you can play a critical role in helping to make their life easier as well. We appreciate your time, and thank you for being a part of the Motherhood Alliance family.